everybody, it's Mary Ellen from Create With Me. I'm here in the Creativity Nest for another episode of Teach Me Tuesday. So we've been talking about different products and I've been showcasing products with you along with a project. So this week we have a new catalog, our mini catalog that's from September to December has come out last Wednesday. And so now I get to show you some new product and I'm super excited about it. So I'm going to take you down to my desk and I'm going to show you the catalog because I can now show you the inside of the catalog, and we're going to look at some fun new product that maybe you are not familiar with, or maybe you haven't really played with these, or maybe you just want some refreshers on it. So I'm going to take you down to my desk. Hi, Kathleen. Kathy, how are you doing? So I'm going to talk today about the Abundant Beauty Decorative Masks. Have you seen them? Do you love them? Have you used them? Chime in and let me know. I really am interested in if this is something that people like to use. I love to use them. We have the usually new masks in every catalog, and I always grab them and I love to use them. They just add that extra detail to your projects. The thing I like about this one is it not only has the different masks that will add the detail, but it actually has a set of layering masks that you can actually use to create a project. And that's what we're going to do today. Hi, Tanya. I'm glad you're tuning in. So I'm also showing you this page in the mini catalog, page 47, because I'm going to use the stamp set So Sincere. I just want to point it out to you, the different fonts. We even have one stamp that goes this way in case you haven't seen it, because sometimes people just don't see everything. And I think this is one of those things that kind of gets lost. So let me show you the different masks. And I brought a piece of black paper because I thought that might showcase them a little bit better. So we've got an extra large mask that is like a houndstooth mask. Super, super great. Oh, you haven't gotten them? Well, maybe after today you'll feel more comfortable using them, Kathy. Then there's the snowflakes, which I know Tanya loves snowflakes and she loves Christmas. So this might be something that you could add some snowflakes to your background with. Then before we get to winter, we've got fall. So it's got a great background that has all kinds of leaves on it, and acorns representing fall. So then I told you that there was some masks that you can actually layer. And so I'm going to show you what they are. So beautiful. I'm going to call them sunsets. Hi, Annette. How are you? So sunflowers. I said sunset. I was thinking of Annette, and she's like a sunset to me. No, I was just thinking and not paying attention. So sunflowers. There's one that layers over it for the inside. Then there's detail for the inside of the flower, and then there's leaves. You'll notice something on these. There's a little notch. Okay, so what that's going to do is help you line things up. So I'm going to show you what I do. Now, I know that there's a lot of people who are demonstrating these, and they might be demonstrating them in all different ways. And so I just started working with them. This is the way I do it. This is the way I've always done it. But that doesn't mean it's the only way or the right way. So I'm going to bring in a piece of very vanilla cardstock. And the first thing I like to do is I like to take my stamp and seal, and I like to just put a little bit on my grid paper. And I do love to use my grid paper. When I say little, I just mean just a smidge. There's just a tiny, tiny piece there. I like to use my grid lines as a place to line my paper up. And so I'm just going to do that. That's just going to help my paper. Actually, sometimes it's better to do 2 smidges. Then you don't have that rotation. So I'm more worried about this line than I'm worried about the top and bottom. But what you can do is, if you want to make sure that your paper, if it does move, you can make just a kind of a corner here and here. So if you do have to move your paper, then you have it. So then I'm going to lay over my mask, and I can see my paper through it. And so I want to lay it I'm going to center it as much as I can. And then what I like to do is I like to use the notch, and I just like to mark that notch right there. And I'll just scribble, scribble, scribble. I'm going to take some removable, reusable tape and tape it down. So when you're using a mask, you can use a couple different things. You can use your blending brushes, which is what I'm going to use today, blender brushes. You could use a sponge dauber. That works great. Or if you still are using a sponge, that works fine too. I really like the control I get with the blending brushes. So I'm going to start with Daffodil Delight, and the mask will do the work for me. So I don't have to worry. My whole paper is covered, so I don't have to worry about inking up the inking up my cardstock that's underneath. So I'm going to start with the light Daffodil Delight. And a lot of times I'll start off to the side, but when I'm using a mask, a lot of times if there's plastic, I can just start in the plastic, and I'm not going to get that. Um, you know how sometimes you get that kind of that dark blob? You don't really get it if you're using a mask because the plastic will kind of control that. Does that make sense? So I'm going to use this, and I'm going to get it kind of dark, just like that. Now, before I take that off, I want to bring in some crushed curry because I'm going to give this a little bit of an ombre look. And I'm going to use crushed curry, which is just a little darker, more fall shade of the Daffodil Delight. That's what I'm going to say, more mustard, kind of like my shirt. So I like, because I'm going to be using it just around the center, I like to bring in the small blending brush. And so I'm going to pick up some of the crushed curry with a small blending brush because I want my color to stay just around the center. So see how that's made that pop? It's super easy to do when you're working with these masks, because the plastic will pick up your color and it's super forgiving. It's easier than if this was like paper. And does that make sense? I don't know. I'm just going to keep asking you, does that make sense? And if it doesn't, you say that doesn't make sense at me. That's okay. So see, I've added some dark shades around my sunflowers. And so now I'm going to lift my mask off. And because I have my, see how pretty that is already? It's already pretty. Woo! The next mask that I'm going to use is my centers of my flowers, and I've got my notch right there. And so that's going to line up my centers just like that. And I'm going to bring in some more removable tape. And now I'm going to work with pecan pie. Okay, so same thing. You can start on your plastic, and then you can go into your, and so you have that color to use. You can keep picking it up, but it just doesn't give you that blob. But we're going to be putting another image over it, so it's not going to be too noticeable. So I'm going to just give that good color. Now you're going to probably be like, okay, how do I clean these? Let me show you really quickly, even though we're not done. I want to show you really quickly what I do. I'm going to set it off to the side, and I'm going to bring in, all I do is use these. I have lots and lots of these in the nest, just wet ones. They're not the alcohol ones. They're just the wet wipe. And then it's as easy as just wiping off your color just like that and then letting it dry. So it's super easy to just clean those off. So I just didn't want to forget and not tell you how to clean them. Keeping that on there, now I'm going to bring in my next mask. And this is a little more detail for the center of my sunflower. And I'm going to bring in copper clay. So now I'm building a little darker color. I'm just reading the tip. Yes, a dauber is a good thing. So if you don't have the small blending brushes, Kathy said using a dauber, and the dauber is a really good idea when you're doing something really small like that. It's good point. So now I'm going to I've got my overlay, and I'm going to bring in some darker color for the center, just the detail. So this is bringing out the detail, right? Ooh, that's a lot of color. I think I could use this mask again and not even pick up any color because there's so much on my mask. Okay, so we're done with that one, and now it's time to reveal, and then we're going to add our leaves. Whoops, got to get my fingernails up underneath there. See how pretty that is? I'll hold it up in a minute. Super, super pretty. Okay, so now our last mask. Looking at our notch right here, we can lay our leaves down. And again, I've got my removable tape. If you're wondering about the tape, this is tape I get from, it's just a Scotch. Whoops, that's the wrong color. We just did that one. 3D Scotch tape. It's Scotch brand. That's what I'm trying to say. It's Scotch brand tape, removable or reusable. Okay, so now I'm going to add some old olive onto the leaves, just like this. Bringing in some color, some fun green color. I'm going to add a little darker to a little bit of it. Okay, so it kind of gives it that ombre look. All right, so then I'm going to peel it off. So now I've got my card front just like this. I'm going to remove it from here. I've only used a little bit of tape, so it'll be really easy to pop off. And I want to show you, see the pretty detail in the flower center, how it just pops. It almost looks three-dimensional, right? But let's make this a little bit prettier. So I noticed in the catalog, and I'm going to bring it back in, I noticed in the catalog right here that they ran this piece through the embossing folder. Okay, so I did that for you. So I took this piece, it's exactly like this, and I ran it through the embossing folder. Look at how pretty that is. Gorgeous. So let's make it into a card. So I'm going to bring in a card base of Very Vanilla. This is a thick Very Vanilla. I'm going to remove this piece here because it's got tape on it. This is a thick Very Vanilla. And yes, no, I didn't score it. I have pretty good luck. I know people say, oh, I like to score my thick. I do too sometimes, but today I'm not scoring it. Oh, I got a little schmutz. Let's see if this covers it. So I'm going to bring in some copper clay, and I'm going to mount my piece of, oh, if you want to know what folder I use a distressed Tile 3D folder. Hi, Julie. So I use the Tile 3D, a distressed 3D folder, and I'm going to mount it on the copper clay because copper clay is one of the colors I use in the center of my sunflower. So pretty. I don't know, is that going to cover that? Yes, I think it's going to cover it. But before I do that, no, I think I can do that now because I think I'm going to get a greeting from that So Sincere stamp set. So we're going to just make it work. We're going to cover my fingerprint. And as crafters, isn't it great? Because you can take things that are boo-boos and you just cover them and you're like, yeah, no, I meant for that to be that. Hi, Jan. Oh, you love blending brushes? Yes, you need to order these. These are real. This mask is really pretty. So I die cut a piece of the wild wheat out of the Something Fancy dies, and using the greeting out of So Sincere, I wanted to tell you I just love spending time with you. So I'm going to stamp that in copper clay on my wild wheat. I just love spending time with you. Just like that. And I'm going to finish my card out with a little bit of the copper textured copper clay ribbon. Textured copper clay ribbon. It's the end color. Hi, Deb. Oh, good. You finally caught me live. Howdy. Howdy, girl. Adding the embossing. Yes, adding the embossing folder really, really makes it pop. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to do that old back and forth trick. And I want to show you how I do it. So I laid my ribbon. I'm kind of going to fuss it a little bit. Just like that. And then I'm going to bring in my, I like to just lay my ribbon on and then bring in my dimensionals. Tell me how you do it. If you add ribbon like this, how do you do it? I need to have a little bit of a break there so that catches my paper. This is how I like to do it. And then if I need more, I can add it and it will hold that ribbon on. I won't have to use, I'll say, traditional glue. Isn't that pretty? Just like that. All right, so let's go ahead and finish it off. We still got to add a few embellishments, and I've got some special embellishments that just came out in the new catalog. Oh, you're so welcome. I hope that you are doing well. I know I've been talking to Linda. I'm talking to Julie right now. I know I've been keeping up on and everything. So I just wanted to let you know I was thinking about you, Julie. Okay, so there's the card, but we need to add some embellishments. And I've got some new embellishments. Of course, I've been piling things over here. And they are the adhesive back speckled dots. Adhesive back speckled dots. So we're going to add, tell me, since you're all tuning in, I was debating. I could put the green ones on and pick up the old olive. I've got the copper ones. That's kind of the way I'm leaning. Which ones would you add? Would you add the green or the copper, or even this crumb cake would be pretty? Well, actually, even this mauve. So, I mean, I could go out of my comfort zone with the mauve, but the crumb cake could be pretty, the copper clay, or the old olive. Which one do you think you would do if this was your card? Which one would you add? I'm going to wait just a second and see. Normally I don't wait, but I'm going to wait just a second and see. Just chime in. Let me know. I know they're kind of delayed. So copper clay, crumb cake, old olive, or if you're a rebel, would you want the mauve? Julie says copper. Anyone else? Do 2 different colors. Oh, Kathy. Now you're really taking me out of my comfort zone. And that says copper. Okay, well, let's start with copper, and I'll see if I can do the other. Okay, Deb says copper. Okay, so we're going to add some embellishments. I'm going to start with the copper, and I'm going to do small, and do you do this? You're like, where do I go? I'm going to do that. I'm going to do another large one. And then because Kathy wants 2 different colors, I'm going to see if I can do it. Okay, so this is pretty. I could be happy with that. If I was going to add a second color to this, I think I could maybe do this crumb cake and do a couple on the actual greeting, just like that. So that gives me, so I do my 3, or that gives me my 5. What do you think? It's not bad. Good idea, Kathy. Okay, so that is the Abundant Beauty Decorative Masks. Let me know if you learned something new, if you've used masks before, if you think that this is something you're going to purchase. I just want to see what you do. So go to my creative group when you get yours, play around with them and show me, but come back to Create With Me, because I'm going to keep playing with this, and I'm going to post some different samples in the group. So yeah, of course it looks good. Yeah, it was your idea. Super cute. I'm so glad you said something. Isn't it pretty? I just love it. I love the last mask too. I think I was one of few people who used them, but I really love them. So I'm glad that you guys tuned in today. I am so happy to be spotlighting some product. And if you didn't see, I'm just going to say one last thing. If you didn't see, go to my Create With Me page where you're viewing this, but go to the actual page, and I've got a giveaway. I'm going to give some of these away. I'm going to give the set of Abundant Beauty Decorative Masks. You can look at my posts on there for the special giveaway, and then you can answer my question, and I'm going to pick a random comment next week and send a set of the masks. So enjoy, and I'll see you next week. Bye, everybody.